Metafix is a show that teaches you how to think in the metagame. I am not here to give you the answers, nor am I going to tell you how to win. Metafix teaches you how to play in the metagame and how to react around the metagame and what is in the metagame. If you're looking for the answers, try HC Realms, check the forums, they have all kinds of neat toys and tools and teams being brought up, and check the results of a lot of the ROC tournaments or any Worlds tournaments to see how teams played out and what teams were used for. I'm just here to help you think. This is going to be the only time I can ever do this episode and say this without getting kicked off of YouTube. I am about to whip out my big giant head. And I'm going to pull out my big purple head. It's Colossal week for real this time. I think I made 3 false alarms about this going into this week. Wow. So we're going to get to a schedule soon again, and yeah, that's going to be a thing. So, what do we talk about with regards to Colossals and Metafix? Well, which ones are the best? So let's start with the game of Elimination, and which ones aren't a problem in the meta or haven't been showing themselves in the meta. Oddly enough, the 3 that haven't shown their face, and well, there are probably reasons, have been Necron, Zombie Galactus, and the Anti-Monitor. As far as strategy goes, they're really hard to pilot on their own. The Anti-Monitor is 300 points, so he's a one-man army, and one-man armies without a Sinestro Core battery nowadays, as Amber futzes with the camera, are a big risk. You generally want to, the strongest one-man armies will have the Sinestro Core battery, and you know the yellow dial on this has 18 defense. He kind of gets on his all together on his own. Now I don't remember if this one. I always forget the card when I'm talking about this guy, but I don't believe the 300-point one comes with multi-attack on him. Although I may be wrong. This one on the other hand does have multi-attack at 200 points, but. At 200 points, you get what you pay for as far as a Colossal is concerned. Not much in the way of a dial. He doesn't exactly have steel energy. He does have multi-attack and pulse wave in his late dial. And at 200 points, you can slap a Sinestro battery on this guy. Ultimately, though, there's better uses of that combination than this character, which we'll get into a little later. I want this guy to be awesome on his own. He just isn't. There's no ways, if, ands, or about it. That you take him off the dial, he's not that great. You keep him on the dial, he's not that great. This Necron is made for casual games, not at the 300-point level. If you play him at the 300 points, or any points, this guy works well when you have a Green Lantern army around him. But he's also a fantastic coaster or holder for your Supreme Intelligence, whose base just fell off of him. Speaking of big giant heads, let's talk about the Kree Supreme Intelligence and his iffiness in the meta. So he's playable at, I've just got the resource dial on him, 250, 550, and 900. So obviously 250 dial is what we're going to talk about competitively. So we spin it right down, and oh man, oh, I think I went too far. Oh, okay, there we go. So he stays in the starting area. So that stay in the starting area meta comes back with him. But at 250 points, you only get 50 points left over, and it's hard to justify him. He comes at a 15 range, 11 attack with Pulse Wave, but the Pulse Wave only works when your opponent is within the 7 range that he gets with the Pulse Wave of the character. He can shoot across the board at a 3 damage, targeting multiple characters because you got 3 targets. I believe that's how that works. I have to double check that one. I should have these cards out and learn these rules. Ultimately, though, because he's kind of stationary and on his own, he suffers from not being able to do much and not being able to react much syndrome. And that becomes a very difficult character to play on their own. Now, the 12-point resource that he is, on the other hand, can be absolutely effective in a 300-point game if you have a character who's armed with it and is acting and dealing damage. That's one of the keys, is the character who's armed with this has to be dealing damage. And then one of the beauties of it is you get to actually match the click on this character with the character that you bring in, and that's based on the 900 point dial. Now, granted, it's a 900 point dial from click 1 to up to, let's say, a maximum of 11 if you're playing with a very sizable single-based character, or more than that if you have a Colossal, but who knows what click that Colossal is in as far as shape is concerned from there. So the resource is very viable. On his own, not so much. If you can really get it functioning, get it working, the only issue you run into is until the power batteries are gone, which is we have 1 more year of power batteries to go, because unfortunately what I thought was going to be this year being the last one, because the cuts are made now in July still, and Origin happens in June, and June is when Worlds occurs. You get 1 more Worlds with power batteries out there, and he doesn't compete with them as well. Until the batteries are phased out and it becomes the world of the power, the Pandora's Box, Rock of Eternity, Avengers Roundtable, he's not going to be hyper effective. Again, in the future, this future I'm predicting, and I can't wait to do a full episode on that future. In that future, that's what we have to wait for. So then we move on to Shumagarath, who was making a lot of noise a couple years back and is not making as much noise anymore. He was good while he lasted. He's still a really good character. For 200 points, you get 5 damage with probability control, 12 attack, 18 defense with Impervious, which can be effective with a Sinestro Core battery. He's monster keyword, and we know there's a ton of awesome monsters in the game right now. He kind of got dethroned by the Zombie Super Skull, in all honesty. Both are incredibly difficult to kill, as long as your opponent's big character is still alive, this guy keeps healing up a click. But ultimately, the Zombie Super Skull is more effective, more consistent, and more powerful on his own versus this guy, who, although is awesome at 200 points, kind of falters on that. Now, as I got the Sentinels to talk about, but I'm going to talk about them last because it kind of leaks into another episode that I've recently done. But the big giant head. Amber piloted this guy. I had to play against this guy with the Batcave. He is good. He is tough. And the right pilot behind it can really ruin some people's days. Amber did a fantastic job of using it prior, or even, like, she got a lot of practice with it going into the tournament. So we printed off the dial and kind of used it. It's a cute little tactic to get some practice going in. We do prefer to have the characters in hand and manhandling them, so you kind of get a feel for where they're going to be and everything like that. But there's a couple keynotes that are worth mentioning about this guy. For one, he's a bargain at 400 points, and he comes in at a maximum of 225. The 225 point dial has these little city tokens that you put out, and if he collects them all, he becomes a behemoth of a beast, of a monster, of a man. And that could be a big pain in the butt to a lot of teams. As well, if even without the city dial, he's got the tentacle dial, and depending on how healthy he is, he can close combat attack a lot of characters from a lot of squares away, all for 3 damage. Is it? It's all for 3 damage. Right, there's a lot of soft teams out there. As somebody has mentioned, not myself, also, we're getting into the meta of the finesse. It takes a lot of work to be really good at this game again. You can't come in with a sledgehammer. You have to have a sledgehammer with attachments. And those attachments have to make the sledgehammer do whirly bits, and then spin arounds, and then kick flips, and then it can do things. And this is one of those guys that can really disrupt that if he can get in the middle of them. You're kind of balancing between the attack and travel dial at its highest effectiveness. Because the travel dial is what you take is the dial you choose when you're not playing and doing much in the way of attacking. The attack dial, it's attack mode and travel mode. Travel mode is going to avoid you taking damage. Attack mode is going to deal the damage. And I'm going to hold him like this forever. Yada, yada, yada. He's awesome. He's great. He's Quintessence. He's Colossal. He's resourceable because he is not actually a vehicle because he doesn't have the vehicle defense symbol. He has the actual defense, the shield defense symbol. So this is a character. This is not a vehicle. No matter how vehicular it looks. I guess it's actually supposed to be Brainiac because he's a robot and things. So that's my rough explanation of that. Now, the next 2 guys, when I first filmed this episode prior to us actually having this week, These guys were kind of a chuck away. But then this guy came out. This is Justin Seifert. I'm just going to say Justin Seifert. This is a dude that makes Sentinels awesome. For one, he's got the Sentinel keyword, so you've already got a named keyword team. He has Outwit, pretty neat. 10 attack for some reason. I don't remember what reason. Super senses and stealth. And he's 40 points. A mediocre character with a very shortish dial. What's so special about this guy? Well, he's got some cool special powers. One of which happens to be a power that, as I'm, showing exactly how unprepared I am for this episode. First of all, he can use support. That's why he's got 10 attack on robots. Characters with a robot keyword. And when he does, and the character heals, that character modifies his defense value by +2. Awesome. Guess who has robot keywords? Both of these guys. They have frame. When building a force, choose a friendly character with a robot keyword. Chosen character is Justin Safeheart's Sentinel. They have robot keyword and Sentinel keyword. He's got Sentinel keyword. And next, I give Justin Safeheart a power action. This is his white attack power. If he's adjacent to his Sentinel, when he does, his Sentinel may be given a move action as a free action, and then it may make a close combat or ranged combat attack. If you take into account the Captain America Sentinel, he's a well-rounded 200-point character who's able to brawl, able to bring it, able to shoot, able to kill, able to stay alive. Not too terrible a character. And a solid choice would be your first choice because, 200 points is a good Sentinel. I personally would go with the 150-point version of this guy. For one, he takes up less of the points, so you still have another 100 points to work in, and I don't know if anybody's seen anything involving Age of Ultron as of yet. It's a little good with regards to robots. And he also has the attack and defense style. Now, the defense style is the obvious one. It's got very high defense numbers along with powers to go with it, including such things as energy shield, barrier, regeneration, defenses that reach as high as a pungent 20. A pretty amazing thing to go with it. On top of that, he's got his attack dial, which comes with various things such as high attacks in the 10 to 11, 12, 11 to 10 to 12 range. Yep. And then you have these extra colors that come with these guys that come from the other dial. Now, the defense dial can offer some extra bits such as, and including, multi-attack to the attack dialed Sentinel. So, I want to help you with some math here. The attack dial Sentinel, who also flies, I might add, gets the power action from this guy. He moves a bunch, and then attacks, and then multi-attacks. Amber's brain just exploded on my face. Hold on a second. Yeah, you can have a single character who's worth 150 points take up to 3 actions. And then you still have room for a resource that might work with this guy, or some extra support characters on top of that to keep this guy either alive or strong. Heck, you can even fit, I don't know, we got 150, 40, fit a 100-point version of this guy in, I don't care. I'm pilot. So, yes, the Sentinels, a couple weeks ago, not so great. Justin Safert came out, and he made them brilliant. So, the idea of possibly using multi-attack with this guy makes it potent. I mean, you don't guarantee it, but there are dials where it is there. And never forget that this attack dial is potent in itself once you start including the other parts to it. The Captain America Sentinel, he's a brawler, he's tough, he can stay alive, he can break. That's another week in Metafix on Colossal Week. Hope you learned something, and hope you guys either agree or disagree with me. There's a place to do that down below in the comments section. And remember, practice makes your team better. The opinions and thoughts brought to you in Metafix are not meant for the casual game at the table. Married with Clix is brought to you by Majestic's Heroclix sales down in Costa Mesa, California. Right now, they're in the middle of storefront change. In the meantime, don't forget to check out their eBay store. If you check the link down below, they always have great Heroclix stuff at fantastic prices, and they'll ship just about anywhere.